Alright guys, I'm going to go out and shoot this vid. I don't know how this is going to come out. I don't know how you're all going to take it. And I'm not sure exactly how I want to deal with this. I'm going to give you my experience with epilepsy and my departed son's experience with epilepsy. And this is the last one I'm gonna do. I'm not pissed off. I may sound like it, but really I'm not. It's just the definition of epilepsy that until you deal with it, you'll never understand as a parent, if your kid gets it, how you deal with it. You know, your car breaks down, you take it to a mechanic, unless you can fix it yourself. Your bike breaks down, you take it to a mechanic, unless you can fix it yourself. You get a medical problem, you go to the doctor, and you expect it to, you know, no problem. Take him to the doctor and get it fixed. It doesn't work that way. Trust me, it does not work that way. We're going to start real quick with a very brief history. The kid was born in like the third week of February 1988, the 21st to be exact. He went 6 months, no problems. And then he got sick. You know, common thing, kids get sick. And then he had the seizure. And I was there for this. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Never had any experience with this whatsoever in my life. I'm like, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot is this. So, off to the doctor we went, off to the hospital. Well, he's seasoned, so they do this thing called an electro and an EEG, whatever the hell they call it. Electroencephalogram, that's it. And this was down in Panama, Gorgas Army Hospital. They didn't have MRIs at the time. Well, they had them at the time, they just didn't have them down there. So we got medevaced. The wife, me, and the child. First thing they said is, he's got a brain tumor. So I got all kinds of sympathy letters from I mean, my leave was instantly approved, and it really wasn't leave. They put me TAD to the medical center, and we got him up there, and they went through all that, and my mom and dad came down from Missouri to render support. And my dad was kind of a old school dude. I won't say bigot, but yeah, bigot. So when we had time alone, he said, "Is this because you married into a mixed race deal?" Because my wife was half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, which I didn't explode over, because I'm not like that at all. In and out. So I didn't get all... I should have got freaked out about it. Yeah, it's pretty flooded. It's very flooded. So anyway, I didn't get all freaked out about that. Like most families, we just deal with it. So at Brooke Army Medical Facility, they did have an MRI machine. It was in a semi, if you remember those days with the MRIs. He didn't have a brain tumor. They found that he had an ear infection, and they treated the ear infection at the same time they were treating his seizures. Well, as soon as he got on antibiotics and the ear infection got better and his temperature dropped back down to 98.6, he stopped having seizures. So they kept him on, they had him on Dilantin. That's an evil friggin' drug in my mind. And then they shipped us back down to Panama. Now remember, Panama is kind of heated up because Noriega was being a dickhead and all that bullshit down there. And this is an Army medical facility, which the Army at the time would give you a compassionate reassignment to deal with shit like that, but the Navy wasn't that advanced back then. So, whatever, what the frick ever, went back down there. And in the middle of '89, he had another seizure, and Gorgas Army Hospital said, "We can't deal with this, you're going back stateside." So this time I went to the captain of the base and I said, "Here's the deal, Neil. His name was Scotch. That was his, he was a flyer, but he was a captain in 06. And I said, here's the deal, Neil. I said, I want him out of Army hands because they haven't fixed it. So Scotch did what he had to do, and the wife and kid got flown to Bethesda Medical Center via San Antonio, via da-da-da-da-da. So they went to Bethesda. And we didn't have cell phones and shit like that back then. So we're talking on the Mars network. Any of you Navy people know very well what Mars is. That's where you talk over the radio, and at the end of every sentence you say, over. So we were talking, and okay, they got him fixed up. It's all good. There's no brain tumor. The seizures are under control. They switched him from Dilantin to phenobarbital. But the bad thing is every time he had these seizures at less than a year old, he regressed. Okay, so, all right. So what do? Send the wife and the kid back down here, down to the Panama. All right, so they do that, and this is middle of 88. He's good from 88, 89. The invasion goes down. I'm down there for that. We kicked our ass, and we leave out of Panama January 11th. And my next duty station, which is another story, but we're not going to go there, is Millington, Tennessee, right outside of Memphis. So I'm like, that's really cool, because then we can get him into the Danny Thomas network. St. Jude's Hospital. I'm thinking, yeah, we can get him into St. Jude's and get out of this military bullshit. So we get up there, and we can't get into St. Jude's. So we go to this other hospital, because I'm like, what they're offering me, I'm like, no, I want a second opinion. Because I'm with the kid, the wife's with the kid, 24/7, and you got these damn doctors and nurses that are writing shit down on the charts and putting in their opinions and stuff, and it's whatever. At one point they said he was deaf, and I could do a facial expression with no noise and move my hand, and he wouldn't respond to it. But if I went googly googly googly, or I'd say like, I'm gonna get you, then he'd smile. So your deaf bullshit is bullshit. So I think that was probably my first clue that you guys are a bunch of friggin' quacks. Okay, whatever. So anyway, now I'm going from being a dad to a medical, making my own diagnosis. I'm getting to the point where I am like, you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. Because I'm around the kid 24/7. You know, even though I'm on shore duty, I'm basically working an 8 to 5 job. Okay, fine, whatever. But when I'm home, I'm spending time with him. So I'm checking stuff out, and I've got a brother-in-law that's a doctor. My uncle is a doctor. Well, my uncle's dead now, but that's to be expected. But yeah, so I've got medical stuff wired into my brain. I really do. So, all right. Da 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 da. So we go for this second opinion, and I get this Oriental doctor, and I actually get a chance to really talk to him, and I say, "Here's my deal, Neil. He's getting more developmentally delayed because you got him so fucked up on drugs." I said, the triggers are every time his goddamn fever goes up, he gets an ear infection or some other miscellaneous bullshit. I said, take him off the goddamn let's see, they went from Dilantin to they went from phenobarb to Dilantin, then they went to another one, and I said, get him off the goddamn shit. The minute he has a seizure, we'll take him into the hospital, have him check him out, and the first thing, we're going to check for ear infections. So this guy says, this doctor says, you know, I think you might be right on this. He said, we're going to do that. So we did that, and he started doing good. I mean, he'd go back into seizures every once in a while. We'd take him into the hospital, and I'd tell him straight up, look for an ear infection, check his temperature, look what the deal is. Something is spiking his temperature. They'd do that, and boom, they'd find it. He'd still be going into these seizures, but they were like febrile to grand mal. There's one more in between febrile and grand mal. And grand mal's like the worst. And to watch your kid go into a grand mal seizure, guys, is not pretty. It's not pretty at all, because there isn't a goddamn thing you can do about it. This is almost making me cry thinking about it. So we do that. They find what's wrong with him. They treat it. The seizures stop. Fantastic. And he doesn't regress. You put him back on the fucking drugs, and he fucking regresses after he has the seizures. Yeah, I'm a real happy camper, as you can tell. So then the next duty station I go to, it's time to transfer. I go to Jacksonville, Florida. We take him to a doctor, because we have to have a doctor. We're not dealing with the medical. So we go to this broad that is somewhat associated with the Danny Thomas hospitals because I'm trying to find a way in there. So we go there. She says, what do you mean he's not on phenobarb or dilantin or anything like that? So I explained it to her. She says, oh, well, he's absolutely positively got to be on one of these medications. I said, no, wrong answer. I'm not accepting that. We're going to go get it. We're going to go get a second opinion. So what she does is immediately calls child services that we're not taking care of the kid. So child services comes out to the house. And I'm outside mowing the grass or whatever. The kid's doing fine at the time. He comes out and he introduces himself and he says, I'm with Florida Child Services and I've got to talk to you about this. And actually, the guy was really cool because I launched into the biggest bunch of shit on his ass. I said, you sorry ass motherfucker, don't even come through this fence or I will kick your fucking ass. I said, that's my kid. I know what the fuck's going on with him. And this doctor saw him for 15 fucking minutes and you're out here now to tell me after I've been through, it was like 5 years, 4 years at the time. I'll give it a break and say 2 years. I'll say, yeah, I've been through 2 years of this shit with this kid. And he started giving me the, calm down, calm down. I'm not like that. I'm here to talk to you to find out what your side of the story is. So I told him my side of the story. And he said, what's this doctor's name up in Memphis? So I gave him the name and everything. Well, of course, I'm in the Navy. And I'm on a ship. So the ship's got to get gone. We got to go to sea. Well, when the ship goes to sea, ain't no son of a bitch ever getting off the goddamn ship unless you're in jail, in the hospital, or friggin' dead. So I give the wife all the info. She was out there ready to kick his ass too. So she heard everything. And we go through this. She goes to this friggin' court hearing. And basically we got screwed. Well, down here in the state of Florida, this is how it works. It's like, okay, so they put him back on friggin' drugs. And I haven't found a doctor that's worth a fucking shit, in my opinion, to get this fucking bullshit out of him. So here we go again, back into seizures. Da 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 da. He regresses. Well, we got to put him in special ed. He can't go to kindergarten. He can't do this. He can't do that. At one point, he fell and hit his cheekbone right on a coffee table and busted a big ass bruise up. Guess what? Child Services back out there. I said, read the fucking file. You think we're abusing the kid? He goes into a seizure and he's walking around and he falls down and he hits his cheekbone and it's got this big ass contusion. Oh yeah, I'm telling you. It looked like somebody just punched his ass out. Come on, guys. I ain't like that at all. Beat a kid? No. Beat my own kid? No. So, I'm already way over time on this. I don't really care if you guys watch it or not. This is just my story. The divorce happens. I'm in the Persian Gulf. She takes the kids and hauls ass to California to be with her mom, to be with family. Because down in Jacksonville we had basically nobody. I can understand that. I'm not going to go into the other shit that happened, into the lead up and all the bullshit she did, but I'm not going to go there. It's just so they go out to California and they live out. He lives out another, I don't know, 14 years. And then one morning, she wakes up and he's dead. And I've never got a copy of the death certificate. So I don't know what exactly caused it. I'm sure they just, well, I know for a fact they call it natural causes, but I don't know that they said cardiac arrest or mental shutdown or whatever bullshit they want to call it. He just passed. And we weren't talking the whole time, and her brother called my mom and dad and told them that Luke had passed and passed the word on to me, and they got a hold of my brother, and long story short, he's the one that had to tell me that he passed, which is really chicken shit. So finally, within 7 or 8 days, I got to talk to her, and she was talking about the burial and everything, and I said, I don't